Jaden's Games. Today we're not going to be reading like those books we read last time. Today we're going to be reading this one. I haven't played what was called I haven't I can't remember read this story for a long time. I haven't, so I'm very excited. Okay, so the Enormous Crocodile, which is like the baby shark do 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 do. Oh, he's sneaky. Okay, this has so much words. Okay,
it does, doesn't it?
Yeah. Teeth. Look at the hippo. I love that.
We've missed a page.
Sorry.
It's alright. Right.
Teeth. What is that? Sorry.
It's a dedication, some authors. Right, anyway.
Oh.
In the biggest, brownest, muddiest river in Africa, 2 crocodiles lay with their heads just above the water. One of the crocodiles was enormous. The other was not so big. "Do you know what I would like for my lunch today?" the enormous crocodile asked. "No," the not so big one said. "What?" The enormous crocodile grinned, showing hundreds of sharp white teeth. "For my lunch today," he said, "I would like a nice, juicy little child." "I never eat children," the not so big one said. "Only fish." "Ho, ho, ho," cried the enormous crocodile. "I'll bet if you saw a fat, juicy little child paddling in the water over there at this very moment, you'd gulp him up in one gollop." "No, I wouldn't."
That's rude.
the not so big one said.
That's rude.
"Children
Just to gobble somebody
are
up.
too tough and chewy. They are tough and chewy and nasty and bitter." "Tough and chewy," cried the enormous crocodile. "Nasty and bitter. What awful tommy rot you talk.
Butter?
They are juicy and yummy." "They taste so bitter," the not so big one said. "You have to cover them with sugar before you can eat them." "Children are bigger than a fish," said the enormous crocodile.
What? Why
"You
would they
get
say
bigger
that?
helpings."
Yeah.
Page turner.
You told me that in that other video. Another video.
"You are greedy," the not so big one said. "You're the greediest croc in the whole river."
I think he's gonna eat him, but he isn't.
"I'm the bravest croc in the whole river," said the enormous crocodile.
Brave.
"I'm the only one who dares to leave the water and go through the jungle to the town to look for little children to eat."
He's actually the weirdest one.
"You've only done that once," snorted the not so big one. "And what happened then? They all saw you come in and ran away." "Ah, but today when I go, they won't see me at all," said the enormous crocodile.
He doesn't,
"Of course they'll see you," the not so big one
he
said.
doesn't even eat anybody.
"You're so enormous and ugly. They'll see you from miles away." The enormous crocodile grinned again, and his terrible sharp teeth sparkled like knives in the sun.
Knives?
"Nobody will see
Sharp
me."
knives or what?
because this time I've thought up secret plans and clever tricks. Clever tricks? Cried the not-so-big one. You've never done anything clever in your life. You're the stupidest croc on the whole river. I'm the cleverest croc on the whole river, the enormous crocodile answered.
Whoa.
For my lunch today, I shall feast upon a fat and juicy little child while you lie here in the river feeling hungry. Goodbye. The enormous crocodile swam to the side of the river and crawled out of the water. A gigantic creature was standing in the slimy, oozy mud on the riverbank. It was Humpy Rumpy, the hippopotamus. Hello, said Humpy Rumpy. Where on earth are you off to at this time of day? I have secret plans and clever tricks, said the crocodile.
He's a good guy.
Oh dear, said the Humpy Rumpy. I'll bet you're going to do something horrid. The enormous crocodile grinned at Humpy Rumpy and said, I'm going to fill my hungry, empty tummy with something yummy.
Is it going to be yummy? Yeah, yummy. Do you know why? You're also going to eat their blood inside their skin.
Oh, lovely.
Does he?
What's so yummy? Asked Humpy Rumpy. Try to guess, said the crocodile. It's something that walks on two legs. You don't mean, said Humpy Rumpy. You don't really mean you're going to eat a little child? Of course I am, said the crocodile. Oh, you horrid, greedy, grumptious brute, cried Humpy Rumpy. I hope you get caught and cooked and turned into crocodile soup. The enormous crocodile laughed out loud at Humpy Rumpy. Then he waddled off into the jungle.
Is that Humpy Rumpy who said that? Whoa. Look, how does he eat with that? Does he blow it up then? It goes in his trunk. I didn't know elephants eat leaves.
Inside the jungle, he met Trunky, the elephant. Trunky was nibbling leaves from the top of a tall tree, and he didn't notice the crocodile at first. So the crocodile bit him on the leg. Ow! Said Trunky in his big, deep voice. Who did that? Oh, it's you. Is it you, beastly crocodile? Why don't you go back to the big, brown, muddy river where you belong? I have secret plans and clever tricks.
Bad tricks, you mean?
Said the crocodile. You mean you've nasty plans and nasty tricks? Said Trunky. You've never done a nice thing in your life. The enormous crocodile grinned up at Trunky and said, I'm off to find a yummy child for lunch. Keep listening and you'll hear the bones go crunch.
Oh no, the bones.
Oh, you wicked, beastly beast, cried Chunky. Oh, you foul and filthy friend. Oh, you foul and filthy fiend.
Why would he want to eat clothes?
I hope you get squashed and squished and squizzled and boiled up into crocodile stew.
Yeah.
The enormous crocodile laughed out loud and disappeared into the thick jungle.
Thick? How is it thick?
A bit further on, he met Mugglewump the monkey. Mugglewump was sitting in a tree eating nuts. Hello, Crocky, said Mugglewump. What are you up to now?
What?
I have secret plans and clever tricks, said the crocodile. Would you like some nuts? Asked Mugglewump. I have better things to eat than nuts, sniffed the crocodile. I didn't think there was anything better than nuts, said Mugglewump. Ha ha ha, said the enormous crocodile. The sort of things that I'm going to eat have fingers, toenails, arms and legs and feet. Mugglewump went pale and began to shake all over. You aren't really going to gobble up a little child, are you? He said. Of course I am, said the crocodile. Clothes and all. They taste better with the clothes on.
I don't. I hate. Why would he want to eat wool on fabric? He's chomping on the tree.
Oh, you horrid hoggish croc, said Mugglewump. You slimy creature. I hope the buttons and buckles all stick in your throat and choke you to death. The crocodile grinned at Mugglewump and said, I eat monkeys too. And quick as a flash, with one bite of his huge jaws, he bit through the tree that Mugglewump was sitting in, and down it came. But just in time, Mugglewump jumped into the next tree and swung away through the branches. A bit further on, the enormous crocodile met the roly-poly bird. The roly-poly bird was building a nest in an orange tree. Hello there, enormous crocodile, sang the roly-poly bird. We don't often see you up here in the jungle. Ah, said the crocodile, I have secret plans and clever tricks. I hope it's not something nasty, sang the roly-poly bird. Nasty? Cried the crocodile. Of course it's not nasty. It's delicious. It's luscious. It's super. It's muscious. It's duper. It's better than rotten old fish. You mash it and munch it. You crow it, chew it and crunch it. It's lovely to hear it go squish.
It isn't.
It must be berries, said the roly-poly bird. Berries are my favourite food in the whole world. Is it raspberries, perhaps? Or could it be strawberries?
I like them with sugar.
The enormous crocodile laughed so much, his teeth rattled together like pennies in a money box. Crocodiles don't eat berries, he said. We eat little boys and girls, and sometimes we eat roly-poly birds as well. Very quickly, the crocodile reached up and snapped his jaws at the roly-poly bird. He missed the bird, but he managed to catch a hold of the long, beautiful feathers in his tail. The roly-poly bird gave a shriek of terror and shot straight up into the air, leaving his tail feathers behind in the enormous crocodile's mouth.
There's one left.
Yeah, not much of a tail left.
No, just... It looks like a dog tail.
He's got it all in his mouth.
Yeah, that's greedy. Why? He should be already filled up with all those feathers and stuff, and I think it got a little bit of bark in there as well when he ate that tree down.
At last, the enormous crocodile came out of the other side of the jungle into the sunshine. He could see the town not far away. "Oh, oh," he said, talking aloud to himself. "Ha, ha, that walk through the jungle has made me hungrier than ever. One child isn't going to be nearly enough for me today. I won't be full up until I've eaten at least 3 juicy little children." He started to creep forward towards the town.
Santa's coming to town and getting rid of the alligator.
The enormous crocodile crept over to a place where there were a lot of coconut trees. He knew that children from the town often came here looking for coconuts. The trees were too tall for them to climb, but there were always some coconuts on the ground that had fallen down. The enormous crocodile quickly collected all the coconuts that were lying on the ground. He also gathered together several fallen branches. "Now for clever trick number 1, he whispered to himself. "It won't be long before I'm eating the first part of my lunch." He took all the coconut branches and held them between his teeth. He grasped the coconuts in his front paws. Then he stood straight up in the air, balancing himself on his tail.
But why would he be with a curl and like green? That doesn't even look like a coconut.
Well, we haven't got to that part yet, have we? He stood straight up in the air, balancing himself on his tail. He arranged the branches and the coconuts so cleverly that he now looked exactly like a small coconut tree standing among the big coconut trees. There we go. That's why he did that. Soon 2 children came along. They were brother and sister. The boy was called Toto. His sister was called Mary. They walked around looking for fallen coconuts, but they couldn't find any because the enormous crocodile had gathered them all up. "Oh, look!" cried Toto. "That tree over there is much smaller than the others, and it's full of coconuts. I think I could climb that one quite easily if you help me up the first bit." Toto and Mary ran towards what they thought was the small coconut tree. The enormous crocodile peered through the branches, watching them as they came closer and closer. He licked his lips. He began to dribble with excitement. Suddenly, there was a tremendous whooshing noise. It was Humpy Rumpy, the hippopotamus. He came crashing and snorting out of the jungle. His head was down low and he was galloping at a terrific speed. "Look out, Toto!" shouted Humpy Rumpy. "Look out, Mary! That's not a coconut tree! It's the enormous crocodile and he wants to eat you up!" Humpy Rumpy charged straight at the enormous crocodile. He caught him with his giant head and sent him tumbling and skidding over the ground. "Owie!" cried the crocodile. "Help! Stop! Where am I?" Toto and Mary ran back to the town as fast as they could.
Join us again for part 2 of the Enormous Crocodile.
3, 2, 1! We're going